People deluded, I'm back again.
Come on, Ian, man. Come on.
Because you always use that active red flag defending. I think it's like. Because you always use that active red flag defending. I think it's like.
People deluded, I'm back again.
Come on, Ian, man. Come on.
Thank you very much for that, Ian Wright. People deluded, I'm back again. First things first, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, and of course, in some cases, good night. If you're on YouTube, smash the like button. Twitch gang, appreciative to you lot tuned in. People, smash the like button, follow and subscribe on both platforms. Make sure you're hitting the like button. Make sure you've got your notification bell on. Make sure you're comfortable when you're getting any thoughts, questions, talking points, etc., in, people. You lot make the platform. As I said, I hope you're doing well and safe. I hope you and your loved ones are in good health and things like that, man. What are you lot saying in the comments early on? Morning, mate. Shout out Richard as well. Daniel, one love. No, I'd rather go all out for Declan Rice in the summer. I hear you, Richard. But if, and a very big if, we're going to look at the stuff, if there is a smidget of hope to bring Jude Bellingham to the carpet and they're going to spend 150 million euros, which, so like you lot, a couple of you have pointed out in the comments, that's about 132 million quid. I can't lie. I'd rather put the little bit more and go and get Jude Bellingham. I don't think we're going to get him. You know, disrespect to Declan Rice. I'm happy with him, but Jude Bellingham's different, man. You know, there's a reason they both play for England, and not to discredit what Declan Rice or Bellingham does, but Jude Bellingham is the piano player. Declan Rice is the piano pusher. You can't disrespect the piano pusher, because if you look at it as a theatre, if someone doesn't put the piano in the center of the theatre, the piano player isn't going to play. People are not going to buy tickets and things like that. Not to discredit Declan Rice, because while I think he would take Partey's role long term, medium, short, medium, long term, whatever, I couldn't rule out him playing in Xhaka's role just because of how Mikel Arteta has got a tune out of granite. And I do think people downplay the technical level of Declan Rice, but Jude Bellingham's got it all, an elite mentality. God has just said you're going to be a footballer, has the capacity to score goals, mucks in as well. I do think, you know, when he does make his next move, similar to Declan Rice and any player, you know, you're going to be under the microscope a lot more. Right now, Jude Bellingham can kind of do no wrong. Everybody's wowed and amazed by how good you play. You get it? I mean, it'd be lovely to have both, really. I tried to do that in Football Manager, but it didn't bang. I can't lie, that's a bump for Bellingham, but marking, it's a Zang. Yeah, come on, it's a Zang. All of these fees are Zangs. You know, 100 million for Tchouaméni at the time. You know, not to discredit these players, but 100 million for Tchouaméni at the time, 100-odd million for Declan Rice, 100-odd for Jude Bellingham. But this is the market now. It's not, you know, it's what you can hustle. As long as these players are good, as long as they can get better, and as long as they can perform in whatever club shirts they sign for, the price tag don't mean anything again. It's a Zang. You know, Dortmund would be making a lot of bread. Ideally, you know, you bring a Declan Rice and Jude Bellingham and make sure you go out there and go and get me thingy, man. Kareem Adeyemi. Obviously, people, smash the like button if you haven't already. At 2 p.m, I'm going to have Parisian London on, where he's a PSG fan. That's going to be on Twitch. We're going to speak PSG and Super League and things like that. 7:50. Let me actually make sure. I don't think it's 7:50. Yeah, actually, 7:50. Man United versus Barcelona. Watch along settings, people. Hope to see you lot tuned in. So we'll have to see, man, really. Oh, what's going on here? Some people are not really happy with that. I'm not. Sorry, folks. Making a quick edit to something, and we're back again. So yeah, it is what it is. Whatever you said, Clement. If this was my money, I would definitely spend 150 million on Bellingham and Caicedo. On that will set Arsenal's midfield for the next 10 years. I hope so. Bellingham, yes, but will be money. Mount, no. Leao, yes, but money. DG title states 150 million. Ornstein report states 150 million euros, which means 132 million, 150 million euros, not pounds. It's about 132, and it's worth it. He would be perfect for that Xhaka role. His defensive awareness, dribbling, ball carrying, passing, goal scoring prowess would be ideal for Arsenal. You said it there. It would be ideal. But, you know, you're going to have to put down a lot of money for him. And then also you're fighting everyone on their nan to sign the lad. With these prices, if we can't sell Bellingham for anything less than 30 million quid, Edu should be fired. How you doing, Sacco? Caicedo or Lavia? Who's better? On the ball, Lavia. Right now, you know, Caicedo's been in the game slightly longer. So it's him, evidently. He's probably more ahead, more Premier League proven at this moment in time. But I do think Lavia's got more gears to his game than Moses, not to discredit either one, really. But you are right. And again, it's not about ability anymore for all players, you know. Forget, we live in a day and age where Sigurdsson costs 50 million. It's what you can hustle, really. Everyone knows the Premier League teams have money, so they're going to fleece them, really and truly. Look at Real Madrid. Tchouameni's a very good player, but 100 odd million quid for being at Bordeaux and Monaco 2 seconds. This is the market. If they didn't do it, Liverpool were going to do it, or someone else was. With Mount, I hold a neutral position because I do think he can be polished and get a tune, and the tune can be got from him. However, we have sufficient amount of 10, so maybe as an 8 is an avenue. Big up DG. If West Ham get relegated, which players would you take bar Rice? I don't really think there's a need for Paqueta, but I guess Paqueta. Good question. I like Bowen for the squad. Bowen, Paqueta. I don't quite want to say Ben Johnson. I like Ben Johnson. I don't quite want to say him because I want someone a bit better, but I guess I think Ben Johnson then. I like him. I like Lanzini, all of these guys, but probably not. Fabianski, no need. Souček, not really see it. Mikel Antonio, Jamaican international for that. That Moroccan centre-back they got, he's decent, but I'd leave him there. Good question. So them names, really. I mean, I don't want West Ham to get relegated, but would it be the worst thing, people? You know, I'm sure a lot of teams around Europe would probably, well, a lot of teams in the Premier yet. Their bargaining position for Declan Rice would get stronger. What about Skamaka as a plan B striker, big man up top? By default, yeah, I'm not really convinced. But yeah, DG, Marcus Thuram and Dybala would together cost 12 million euros in the summer. Which should we go for? Should we, go for both or one of them? Well, the true cost would probably be a lot more because Dybala's not going to, you know, join for little peas. Neither is Marcus Thuram. Big fan of Dybala, but I'd probably leave them alone, really, if I'm honest with you. I'd probably say neither. I'd probably leave both alone to do what they're doing, really and truly. But if I had to pick one just because of how they play, Dybala. But I actually think the more economic, sensible decision would probably be Marcus Thuram. There's slightly more resale value. I do think there's a player of some sorts in him. I do think there is a use. I'm just not really convinced on him. You know, he's aggressive, obviously has the capacity to score goals, reasonably all right technically, does know how to win a foul and oversell it, diving in that. But yeah, I'm not really with it, man. If I'm brutally honest with you, I'm not really with it. 1 second, folks. Still here, of course. How you spell it? The typo in my title. Get that sorted because that's gonna bug me out. Slap that over there. And here we have it. So yeah, keep your opinions flowing, people. Don't forget to like and subscribe. After not seeing an English team win this week, games of the Champions League, not going to lie, I'm getting gas. Finally seeing Arsenal in the Champions League next season. Same, man. But it's a different ball game, man. Where in certain games we've won, lost, or draw, there's certain levels we need to go up. Because I'm not on getting embarrassed in the Champions League. You know, we was in the Champions League, we had that. And I can't lie, I am hoping Real Madrid to make that aggregate scoreline against Liverpool 10-2 so they can join us in this battering stuff, really. There's some serious teams out there. Shout yourself, S. Big up, DG. If Chelsea were to start selling off players to make way for who they have bought and the ones incoming in the summer window, do you think there's anyone worth getting? Chelsea got a bag of quality players, man. Definitely not Hudson. He's not one of them. Kovacic. I'm not against Mason Mount, if I'm completely honest with you. I don't think he's a bad player. Incredibly frustrating, a lot of rough edges, yeah, but I'm not against bringing Mason Mount to the carpet. I'd say Kovacic would score high up my list, really and truly. Mickey Mount, nah, fam, he stays. Bellingham, I'm speaking it into existence. 8-year contract. Shout out the Malaysians, Kieran. Appreciate you tuned in. Shout out to you lot, man. I can't imagine, the time zone over them sides. It must be significantly ahead. So shout out to you for your commitment, man. I hope you're having a good day or night or evening. Interesting comments, folks. Keep them flowing. Let's actually make sure that we're staying up to date with everything Arsenal as well. I don't want to miss a beat. Let me type in Arsenal online. Make sure we don't miss anything. And we can slap that over there. Covers injuries, though. True. Who would you take in the quarterfinal, Man United or Barca? I'd say Barcelona because I want Man United to go out. But, when you go away to the Camp Nou, you're in trouble there. Did you see Hudson-Odoi interview? Bro said he was finding form in Germany whilst having 0 goals and 1 assist. But, hey, says it all, innit? Always happy to stay up to watch you, mate. I appreciate that, Kieran, man. My guy. Appreciate that support. Unpopular, but I wouldn't mind Mount as well. Arteta could groom him for that Jacaro. I do think there's a lot with Mount. I would say, for me, the first thing I would tell Mason Mount if I was Arteta or Graham Potter is stop thinking you need to be. He does that Bruno Fernandes stuff. Like, stop thinking that you need to be the difference maker. I think he forces things too much. I think he needs to go back to basics in terms of ball retention. I think he needs to stop feeling sorry for himself. I do think he's got a good passing range, can dribble. I think he's a decent player. Like, I don't think Mason Mount's terrible at all. Nelson did better in Germany than the 1v1 demon, just saying something. Maybe even Smith Rowe. And Smith Rowe had an injury-riddled time there, really. Hit the likes, peeps. Come on, appreciate that. So, yeah, man, interesting comments. I mean, Hudson-Odoi can stay. I mean, stay where he is. Who knows? Arsenal might be able to spin the block for Mudryk in a couple of years if he continues doing what he's doing. But the thing with Chelsea, how many guys are there? I mean, I wouldn't be against someone like Broja. Wouldn't be the top of the list. But, yeah, Captain America wouldn't be a bad option. DG Pulisic, he's not a bad player, but he thinks he's Eden Hazard. Nah, man. Nah, at least with Mount, he's English. There's homegrown and all of that sort of stuff. I'm not really with the Pulisic stuff. Pulisic, we've seen it too many times. He gets in the team. He plays very well in stages. He's in the team for a minute. Then he reverts back to type, gets injured, in and out the team. Then he's back. And that's the thing. But look at Chelsea got bare players in it. Like bare players, like bare attacking players. I'm not saying they're all going to leave, but off the top of my head, Lukaku's contracted. Aubameyang, Sterling, Broja, Pulisic, Hudson-Odoi. Now you've got Mudryk. Noni Maduke's coming to this fold. Still technically got Amari Hutchinson and Lewis Hall, I believe, banging around. Mount can play further forward if we're forcing it. They got too many dons. I wonder why Saka is stalling the new contract. It's been a year now because every second that you stall means more zeros, really. And these negotiations take time and you have to be open to everything, really. If we win the league and have big bread to spend in the summer, would you go all out for 2 world-class players, i.e. Bellingham and Kvaratskhelia? I can't say the Napoli lad's name, rather than buying 3-4 squad players. Daniel, it's a catch-22 because I think we still need players for the squad. But if there was money, of course, Napoli are not going to sell him on the cheap. Bellingham, we're discussing him. If you could bring them two in, I'm on that really. And, by that logic, you'd probably have to make some sales. If you was to get rid of Pepe, not going to get a mad fee, but the Pepes, the Cedrics, the Maries, a couple of other players who are in the first team right now and just redistribute the resources, maybe they'll plug the gap. But I do think you need to make some shrewd additions. And really, I think we need more than one midfielder as well, as good as it's a quality over quantity thing. Bellingham, Rice, Leao, or Mount, and you still need a striker, in my opinion. Hojlund and Ivan Fresnadal will cook in. If Arsenal do this, I will cry of beauty. Hear that? Crazy how many flops Chelsea have. They spent 60 million on who is he? Cucurella. I mean, you said there. Ziyech linked with AC Milan. Boy, I completely forgot about Ziyech. Nah, man, he's a fair weather like. He's not on it consistently. Like when he's on it, you saw it in the World Cup and you've seen it in patches for Chelsea. He's on it, but we've got a couple of those at our club. We've had a couple of those, Hector. I know you're a United fan. Smash the like button, people. I don't really want these fair weather guys that, you know, if it's a bit too windy, if it's raining, if you've not had enough hours sleep, I don't really want them at the team. Like Ziyech is a baller without doubt. You know, he's quality, but yeah, man, let him go PSG and cash out, man. He's gonna cost that KK guy is gonna cost peas. Lobotka is welcome, and they're not letting the Napoli are not letting him. Osimhen, half of these guys, you know, Lobotka, who, you know, I did a video when he was at Celta Vigo. Martinelli thought he could do the Saka thing, but when the form dipped, he signed the contract quick. To be fair, that's harsh. Shout out to Oliver. Good evening, right back at you. Do you think we have a chance of getting Victor Rugg? You always have a chance, but I believe, not that I know anything, but I think we're probably second best to Barcelona and whatnot in that regard. But if we could take advantage of their financial situation, why not? If we win the league, we should slap 100 to 120 million on a marquee signing for sure. But who though, man? How many players are worth 100 odd million? You know, we can't get that KK brother from Napoli, but I would bid 100 million or whatever they want for him. I believe in his talent. You know, hopefully hindsight doesn't make that look stupid. I'd give them what they want for Jude Bellingham at Dortmund. Obviously, Camavinga, Tchouameni, these guys are Valverde. These guys are unobtainable. But if there was a smidget of hope, in an ideal world, bring me Declan Rice, Karim Adeyemi, Manu Kone, whatever else Mikel Arteta wants. Ideally, a striker as well. You know, I'll just say a striker. Ideally, a different profile to what we have. Can see what's happening, man. Julian Alvarez. You see how Pep never made no subs yesterday. You know what you need to do in the summer, innit? You know who you need to contact. I'm sure Arteta is still every now and again when you walk through the Etihad training ground, he's still got his business cards over there. DG, would you spend 150 million on Bellingham? Do you think signing Bellingham and nobody else would be considered a good window? I'd give them what they want for Jude Bellingham. 150 million is exact. Or apologies, people, just knocked my glass sparkling bottle over. Sparkling water bottle. Good thing it's not open. But I'd give them what they want. It's 150 million euros, as some of you have pointed out. So that equates to probably 132. I don't think Dortmund are going to want that all up front. And I mean, with Jude Bellingham's age, with the longevity he has, with the marketability as well, because he'd have Saka in that, you know, I just think he'd be a success. I think he would justify his price tag, or worst comes to worst, no one would talk about it really. But if you sign Bellingham and no one else, that's a dead window for Arsenal. That's dead. Because if he gets injured, we're back to square one. And Bellingham's still going to, right now, as I said earlier, Bellingham is still going through that wow moment. He can do no wrong. Sooner or later, there's going to be a heavy degree of scrutiny and expectation. There's over 124 of you locked in on YouTube. There's only 32 likes. You lot are boying it, man. So, yeah. It's better to get Bellingham and one other world-class player and have people they replace in the starting 11 as depth. It's easier said than done, though, man. Partey, Jorginho, El Nene, Xhaka, Bellingham, Vieira, Odegaard, Smith-Rowe is enough midfield cover. Ooh, need another 6 there. And Vieira and Odegaard and Smith-Rowe, while I think they should all be groomed to play that 8 role, none of them are 8s at this moment in time. The closest one is probably Odegaard. I know Fabio Vieira's played in the middle of the park. Leao's welcome, but then he plays off the left and is quite congested. I think he's better off the left, and I haven't seen suitable performances up front. He's welcome, but you'd imagine if we're bringing in another wide man, surely it's got to be someone that can perform on the right-hand side and give Saka a bit of pressure, because left-hand side is open season. Obviously, Saka doesn't play there, but Saka could go over there. If Pepe was still in the squad, he's not taking, even though he's a right winger, he's not taking Saka's place. So it'll probably be the left-hand side. That's Martinelli's to lose. Trossard has now come in. Obviously, once upon a time, it was Smith-Rowe. You know, you'd imagine that would... I actually think Reece Nelson prefers to play as a 10 or off that left versus on the right-hand side. So it is a bit open season. Ironically, you probably want someone on the right. And with Leao, obviously, he's contracted until 2024. So there's a bit of shenanigans. Zaha's actually been linked with a big money move to join Cristiano Ronaldo, bro, in the Middle East. I think the Zaha bolt with Arsenal... he's done. How much is Leao? Not a clue. We're not signing Bellingham, but the dream is free. Gundogan and Busquets, free agents, experience mentality winners. I'd prefer, obviously, Busquets historically is the better midfielder, but I'd prefer Gundogan. I'm still on selling both Eddie and Balogun to get another striker who's a different profile to Jesus, in brackets, traditional 9. I can see Jude going to City, sadly, if Bernardo and Gundogan leave. How about Adama Traore as backup to Saka? I mean, if Saka wants to do the bodybuilding thing, Bailey, he's Jamaican, so he's welcome. But if we're trying to do this winning thing, I can't see how Leon Bailey helps us, man. Leao is like Pepe for me. If you watch him consistently, he's frustrated with his decision-making, incredibly frustrating. And I would like to see Leao do things a bit more calculated. It looks like he plays on instinct quite a lot. Bailey Unai isn't giving us Bailey for a reasonable fee. How much did he join Villa for? Because they're gonna want to break bread, and Villa aren't gonna cut us any slack in any regard. So we'll have to see. With that being said, people, should we look at what the transfer news is actually saying, people? So let's make a stamp there. Let's see what's going on. Good morning, everyone. Jude is the dream. Would love to see him at our club. The dream is free. The hustle is sold separately, indeed, people. So yeah, if I share my screen with you, look, keep your thoughts and whatnot coming. I'm sure you all initially saw the Athletics article. Jude Bellingham's future, Liverpool, Real Madrid, City, and United. Now, for what it's worth, United could put the money down, and they tried to get him before Dortmund. You know, they wheeled him out in front of everyone. I personally believe he's going to end up at Liverpool. I hope to God it's Real Madrid. And, you know, City, you could never rule him out, learning to play under Pep Guardiola. Scrolling all the way down to the most relevant parts of this article, people, because there is no point reading bare of this apart from the relevant parts. First thing, you know, is actually, it says Liverpool, Chelsea, Arsenal, Chelsea, another club will be in for him. Liverpool, Chelsea, Arsenal, Manchester United, Paris Saint-Germain, Real Madrid, and Man City are among those likely to be shopping in that position. You could add Barcelona to that list, but they are far more restricted financially than the others. It's too early to say where he'll end up, so this article will instead lay out the positions of the interested clubs and the various elements that will need to be in place for a deal to be done. I mean, even though Liverpool, didn't we hear FSG are not selling them, and what's their financial situation, especially if they're not in the champs? Liverpool have tried to buy Tchouaméni and Bellingham and Enzo Fernandez, so that has probably told you they're looking at a marquee midfielder. For what it's worth on Dortmund, forget the suitors for a minute. Bellingham's current club are vital to this process. The player under contract until the end of the 2024-25 season. Dortmund have no need to sell, but equally are unlikely to stand in the player's way if the money is right and he wants to leave. That's why they bought him. They knew that they would sell him back to these shores or abroad for a significant profit than what they spent to prize him from Birmingham. The German side have consistently made it clear they want around 150 million euros, which equates to 132 million pounds or 160 million dollars for their star man, a fee that will play a big part in who is able to do the deal. Through all of this process, it's important to remember that it's possible, albeit unlikely, that Bellingham stays another year in Germany. He's the key man at a big Champions League club and has worn the captain's armband on occasion. He will want to get this next move right, and if that means waiting, so be it. If that happens, don't be surprised if he extends his contract by a year with a set buyout clause for the following summer. Dortmund will certainly be happy, so that many clubs are interested in Bellingham. Competition usually means a good price is paid. I mean, you can deal with Liverpool if you want to deal with Liverpool, people. I'm just going to skip to where it says Arsenal. Real Madrid, we all know Real Madrid could have him, Camavinga, Valverde, and I'm probably Tchouaméni, and I'm probably missing one out. And Real Madrid is Real Madrid, really. Manchester City, obviously, they need to probably bring people in. For what it's worth, some in the industry feel Bellingham currently prefers Liverpool to City because he would be a better fit stylistically for Klopp's team. You know, you could see him doing that. He's probably enticed by being the next Gerrard. Man United have been linked with him and tried to get him. Scrolling all the way down. Anyone else? Probably not. There it is. Chelsea are big outsiders after spending 120 million on Fernandez. There are not many other clubs with the finances to do the deal, Arsenal included, despite being admirers of him. PSG have the financial backing, but a move to Liga is unlikely to appeal people. Allegedly, this is Arsenal's kit for next season. It's not the best, is it? A bit disappointed if that really is it. Again, scrolling. Where is it with Mason? With him? Where is it? So that's that with Jude. That's that with Jude Bellingham, people. It feels like I missed something else out. Would any of you take Mason Mount? As you know, Mason Mount is locked in contract talks, people. Again, his contract is up until is up in June 2024. Negotiations between Chelsea and Mount over a new deal have not yet led to an agreement, with several offers made last summer and in the autumn rejected by the 24-year-old. That has led to speculation that Mount could depart his boyhood side, and reports have suggested a number of suitors, most notably Liverpool, will attempt to prize him away from West London. So we'll have to see, really and truly. Maybe they do need to let Mr. Chelsea go. Again, Mount's future appears to be in the balance, people. He's got 12 months left, and they'll sell him in the summer. I wonder if Mikel Arteta will utilise the Chelsea-Arsenal relations. I'd prefer Kovacic, to be fair with you. Kovacic, will he still be a player in the summer? Probably not, but that's a player I'm more likely to want at Arsenal. Speaking of a former Chelsea midfielder, I mean, we've heard this about a gazillion times. Declan Rice is huge Mikel Arteta admirer as Arsenal deal edges closer. Declan Rice is a huge admirer of Mikel Arteta following the Spaniards' work to transform Arsenal into Premier League challengers in recent years, gassing it. Sources have told Football Insider. This site revealed on Monday, the 20th of February, that the Gunners lead the race for the 24-year-old and are in sustained contact with the midfielder's rep. So that's who we're getting in it, allegedly, if we're able to be successful. He was previously valued at 150 million. David Moyes might not be in a job, people. But sources say the race is now opening up for Arsenal to complete a sensational deal. The England international midfielder is widely expected to leave West Ham in the off-season after making no secret of his desire to play at the highest level possible. He has less than 18 months left to run on his contract at the London Stadium, and Arsenal are willing to raise his weekly wage into and beyond the 200k a week bracket. It's believed Rice's unwillingness to commit to a new deal means West Ham are only likely to be able to command a fee of between 70 to 80 million for their most sellable asset. That outlay is not expected to be a problem for Arsenal, who are likely to be buoyed financially ahead of the likely qualification for the Champions League this season. I mean, we're 50-odd points. You'd imagine 70-odd points does it, and then we're laughing, but we'll have to see. So there we have it, where Declan Rice is concerned, people. The capture of Rice would be just the latest in a number of exciting additions geared towards transforming Arsenal into a source to be reckoned with in European football. The captain of West Ham, the 24-year-old, has played every minute of every match in the Premier League so far this season. So we'll have to see, people. What's this? 23rd. Arsenal work on 2 midfield signings. What's been said here? We know we've spoken about Rice. The Gunners are also looking at a deal for Yuri Telemans as he prepares to walk away from Leicester, free agent this summer. Okay, so always linked with it. Once again, allegedly, Declan Rice is particularly keen on working with Mikel Arteta in the future, people. Let's see, man. Apparently, Ben Jacobs has said Arsenal's midfield priority will be Declan Rice, and West Ham are resigned to losing him. David Moyes, as you expect, has been quick to argue if Rice leaves, it should be for a British record transfer fee, but suitors are hoping for a fee of 70 to 80 million. This is ultimately because Rice's contract expires in the summer of 2024. But Chelsea's big spending could inflate the market and thus Rice's price. You can understand why selling clubs, especially for top-tier central midfielders, will point to Enzo Fernandez's 107 million fee and ask for something similar. That would go for if we did what I want of getting Manu Kone. Obviously, that's going to indirectly affect, what people might ask for Jude Bellingham, so on and so forth. I still think Rice will go for cheaper than that, but how much so will depend on whether West Ham get a bit of a bidding war. Chelsea also really want Rice. Manchester United and Newcastle United cannot be ruled out either, although I understand Rice's preference is to stay in London. That won't be a deal breaker, but Arsenal and Chelsea can certainly use it to their advantage. Rice also wants Champions League football. Whether or not that means instantly remains to be seen, but Arsenal can clearly use this to their advantage given where they're heading. Rice has also spoken glowingly about Arteta. So it's probably fair to term Arsenal the favourites right now. But as we saw with the pursuit of Mudryk, that doesn't always mean a huge deal this far out. If Chelsea offer big or above market value, Arsenal would have to go against their transfer market principles. I mean, go all you want over Declan Rice. Just make sure you've got alternatives is what I would say. Apparently, Arsenal and Tottenham eye Rafa Leao and he can win Ballon d'Or. Not too sure on that, people. Apparently, this article says he's got interest from Arsenal and Spurs. Fair enough. Apparently, according to this, the former Sporting Lisbon Wizkid is now closer than ever to leaving the Scudetto holders, dropped recently by Milan coach Paoli with contract talks ongoing. Apparently, the 7-time European champions currently have no intention of meeting Leao's demand. The jet-heeled winger has a £130 million release clause in his contract, but hopes to knock some 60 million off that fee with Chelsea and Arsenal, just 2 clubs preparing to test the waters. I mean, I think he's lit, but he's a left winger. He can be groomed to play up front. I don't think he's ready to do that right now. So as much as I like him and think he would be good, and I do think he's hot and cold at times, as much as I consider him impressive, it don't really make sense. The links to Arsenal, really, but maybe that's something to be wary of. We was linked with Tino Livramento yesterday, people. He's currently injured, but the Southampton 20-year-old fullback is quite talented. Allegedly, Ben Jacobs said, Well, Ben Jacobs did say we're linked with him. This article hasn't said anything about Ben. Oh, here we go. Looking at Ben Jacobs, he's spoken on Ivan Fresnadar and I believe Tino Livramento. Arsenal will look at right back this summer to add a bit of depth and plan for the long term. Arsenal's priority remains Ivan Fresnadar. Fresnadar opted to stay at Real Valladolid to the end of the season, despite offers from both the Gunners and Dortmund. Fresnadar's agent actually said up to 30 clubs had made inquiries for the 18-year-old. Newcastle were also tracking him. In the end, Fresnadar was reluctant to move, even with options from some suitors to be loaned back. Despite being a fantastic prospect, he's still developing and has played less than 15 La Liga games. It makes sense he didn't want to rush into anything with the summer, giving him time to transition to a new club. Once again, Jacob adds that Arsenal and City are also likely to keep monitoring Tino Livramento at Southampton in the next few transfer windows. Tino Livramento is another interesting option who's had horrific luck with injuries. The 20-year-old was magnificent last season until he picked up a serious ACL against Brighton last April and recently suffered another setback this January when returning with Saints' B team. Chelsea have a buyback option active in 2023, but it's not thought they'll activate it, especially now Gusto has signed from Lyon, and all suitors will obviously have doubts given his long spell out on the sidelines. But Livramento will be monitored when fit with a view to a possible move over the next 2 to 3 windows by both Arsenal and Manchester City. And if he hadn't suffered his injury, he may already be at one of those clubs already, potentially. Apparently, we were linked with this guy in January, people. Real Betis ace Luis Enrique reacts when quizzed about £44 million Arsenal move. Specifically, what have you said? Sevilla, Man United, as well as Arsenal and Aston Villa have been linked with him. He said, it makes me want to keep growing, but those things about other teams wanting to buy me, I don't think about that. In fact, I told my agent that I only think about Betis and playing. I feel very calm at Betis. Everyone is always helping me, the coaching staff, Pellegrini, the players. I'm feeling good here. When a young player comes from Brazil at that stage, change is difficult. But here I found fellow Brazilians who are helping me a lot. I feel very calm here. Fair enough. Fair enough, man. So hopefully we keep monitoring him and anyone else, people. Apparently Mavropanos could be joining Inter Milan, people. Inter Milan have allegedly made a £12 million bid. I don't think he'll help you, Inter Milan, but fair enough, people. Apparently Sergio Dest reckons he's made a mistake going to AC Milan and not Arsenal. No, I think he did just all right. I would have cried if we signed you. We've been linked with Montpellier striker Wahi, and apparently he has switched agents. He's also been linked with Tottenham Hotspur. Why the 20-year-old has switched agents, I don't know, but he has, people. So there you have that. Arsenal don't think they can sign a £132 million ace years after Gunners had deal kind of done. Not sure if that's it is what it is. Arsenal admire Jude Bellingham, but seemingly think they don't quite have the money to go and sign the Dortmund star. I mean, everyone here could have told you that. Fair enough. When did we have a deal done? Tony Adams told Sky Sports in 2020 that the Gunners had a deal to sign Bellingham from Birmingham City, kind of done. But didn't the next Arsenal scout the other day come out and say they tried, but he was deemed too expensive? If he was too expensive then, don't know what he is now. And I've got a lot of love for Tony Adams. And obviously you're more plugged up and connected than us. But are you in the position to really tell the truth or say anything sensible there? Ruben Neves looks set to leave Wolves in mid-claims Arsenal want to sign him. Allegedly, that's according to the Athletics journalist Steve Medele, who is summing up all the latest at the Molineux. Neves is one of a number of midfielders who has been on Arsenal's radar in recent weeks. The 25-year-old fits the profile of an all-action midfielder Mikel Arteta wants to bolster his squad. I'm all on that. I'd prefer him over Telemans, even though I think Telemans is good, really. I think Telemans is more able to do some stuff in the final third, but he's more of an all-rounder. A natural leader, Neves would likely fit in very well among the Arsenal squad were he to leave Wolves. Fair enough. When asked about Neves signing a new deal, as for Neves, I would never rule anything out. The expectation at Wolves is that he'll leave at the end of the season. But as was the case last summer, there has to be a club willing to pay what he and Wolves wants, and there won't be many clubs in that market. Fair enough. He's previously been valued at 50 million. His contract expires in 2024. So Wolves are going to have to make a decision on the 25-year-old or suffer the consequences. Apparently, Arsenal have now held talks with Granit Xhaka over a new deal. That's according to 90-minute people. We saw that yesterday. Granit Xhaka, a valued member of Mikel Arteta's side, people. He is keen to extend his stay at the club and talks have taken place. It currently doesn't shed any light on how long the contract is or how far the progress is, but yeah, it is what it is. And with El Nene signing a new deal, it is what it is. Arsenal's women pay rise is 30%, but still behind men. Arsenal Women's Football Club has increased pay by almost 30%, according to latest published accounts. However, the entire team still earns considerably less than some individual male players. Respectfully, obviously, but it's nice to see that progress has been made. Journalist provides update on Vlahovic amid Arsenal interest. Ben Jacobs, what he said. Vlahovic is the other one I think to keep a really close eye on, because there's a real opportunity for a Premier League club to come in the summer and sign him from Juventus, because there's so much upheaval because their finances aren't great. They are not likely now because of their 15 points deduction to make the Champions League. And even though Maximiliano Allegri could well go at the end of the season, at the moment, Vlahovic, despite scoring goals, is not as happy playing under Allegri as he was in the Fiorentina system before he moved. Well, I don't think anyone cares. Good luck to you, mate. Good luck to you, mate. We've spoken about Fresnador already. Obviously, Inter Milan are struggling financially as well. Smash the like button, people. Don't forget, completely off topic. Where is it gone? But we are watching Man United versus Barcelona later today. And also, people, on the weekend, we're watching Leicester at Arsenal. Make sure you smash the like button on them, turn on your notification buttons and all of that good stuff. But staying on task here, Inter Milan apparently are struggling financially. And if they do want to commit Lukaku, they're going to have to sell someone, really, whether that's Bastoni or something. Lautaro Martinez wouldn't reject a move to Arsenal, so why would he? Reports connecting Lautaro Martinez to Arsenal have emerged again in recent days. The Argentine has long been revered at Arsenal, with the club contemplating bringing him on board in 2021, but that deal never materialized. Martinez is undoubtedly one of the league's most dangerous attackers in Serie A this season. He has 13 goals and 3 assists in 23 league appearances. All indications point to him becoming a reliable goal source for Arsenal. Inter appear to be in financial trouble. They require a big sale this summer. Can we bring Barella then? And Martinez could be that. Otherwise, unlike in 2021, when a number 9 could easily turn down a transfer to the Emirates at this moment in time, who would turn down a move to Arsenal? On Give Me Sport, the journalist Peter Rook explained why he believes Arsenal will get Martinez if they're serious about him. The pundit suggests Lautaro has been in good form for Inter Milan recently. I think he would be interested in a move to the Premier League, and I'm sure Arsenal and a number of clubs are keeping tabs on his situation, which they probably are. Let's see exactly what that has said, people. He would be interested in a move, allegedly, people, as you can see there. Apparently, they could let him go for 70 to 80 million. This article has also said Chelsea and Manchester United could also get involved as well. Apparently, people, we had Barcelona rejected a 70 million euro pound bid from Arsenal for Rafinha, allegedly. That had to have been in January. Fair enough, people. Apparently we offered 70 million euros, which was rejected in January by the Catalans. Fair enough. The 26-year-old has kind of been in mixed fortunes. Even when he scores for Barcelona, the goals kind of cloud the games. We've also been linked with Hojlund, who I've spoken about more times than I care for now. Bring the striker if you can. Arsenal prepare monstrous offer for Rasmus Hojlund, with the Atalanta star earning comparisons to Erling Haaland, but Arsenal face competition from Real Madrid, with the Danish striker lined up to succeed Karim Benzema, and some reports say to play backup. He signed for 50 million. I've said it before. He's got good height, good physical qualities, variety in his game, links up well, pulls into the channels, wins fouls. He's a very honest player, good technical level, decent left foot, plays loosely like Haaland, but I'll be wary of comparing him to that. You could see why people would like him. And, the Atalanta are going to make a lot of money. Bring him and Scalvini, the centre-half from Atalanta. Allegedly, we're preparing enough for people. Arsenal are now set to test Atalanta in the summer with a monstrous offer, according to this Italian publication, people. What is a monstrous offer? They signed him for, was it 17 million euros, the article said? So I have to see. He's 6'4". He's got a lot of height. His gaffer has said Hojlund has this spirit, energy, intensity, but also technical quality that is just remarkable. He still has so much margin for improvement, says Gasperini too. He has very, very similar characteristics to Haaland, not just his face. He's so quick. He's under 11 seconds over 100 meters, and that's not even trying very hard. Considering his height, he has low center of gravity and can move his legs very fast. Fair enough. I'm convinced he'll have a great career. He gets stronger every year. So, yeah, people. He began his professional career at Copenhagen, where he got 5 goals in 32 games. The young forward then scored 12 goals in 21 games for Stuttgart after moving to the Austrian side for £1 million before obviously making the switch to Atalanta. People, he's been capped twice by his country, made his debut last year. We'll have to see exactly what happens there. Fabrizio Romano on that has said Ramos Hojlund has been linked with a move to Arsenal by various outlets. I'm not sure he's going to leave Atalanta in 2023. I don't see Arsenal as an option for Hojlund. They have Gabriel Jesus, Eddie Nketiah and Bellingham. For sure, Hojlund wants to play, not be on the bench. I'm told he could stay at Atalanta for one more year. People, I'm live at 2 p.m. as well with Parisian Londoner, and I'm live at 7:50 to watch Man United Barcelona. So yeah, Fabrizio Romano, not you know, has poured cold water on all of that, people, depending on where you read. Again, that's potentially our kit for next season. Spezia collapsed after Kyrie Arsenal transfer. What does this mean? Oh, they're just taking 2 points since that. Fair enough, man. That's you lot's problem. Shouldn't have sold it to us, isn't it? Thank you, though. Should we refresh this page? Doesn't appear there's anything new there. We know El Nene has extended his contract at Arsenal by another year. We've just spoken about Hojlund. Multiple Serie A clubs interested in Bellingham. Arsenal leading the race for Yuri Telemans. Kieran Tierney to decide his future at the end of the season. Arsenal want to provide Declan Rice 200k a week. And it's reported that we can get that deal done once again for 70 to 80 million. City are to rival Arsenal for the signing of Declan Rice. We're monitoring Wahi. Several Serie A teams are interested in Balogun. Several Premier League teams allegedly are interested in him. Arsenal are ahead of in the pursuit of signing Denzel Dumfries. I don't know if that's true. We've been linked with Jesper Limstrong before. It all depends where you want to read into, people. So with that being said, it all depends where you're reading. Essentially, deluded Balogun or Hojlund. Hojlund, no disrespect to Balogun, but he's better than you. There's no disrespect in that. Never seen him play DG. Big up DG. Don't want to be defeated, but players need to focus on decent young talent who can play in our system. I hear that. Arsenal need at least 5 players to even consider competing in the Champions League based on Liverpool versus Real Madrid game on Tuesday. Rather strengthen all over the squad than spend 150 million on him, then what? Nothing else. That's what I mean. If there's no extra bread, then it doesn't make sense. I'd have Bellingham for 150 million if we have another 150 million to spend after all. I'm not sure about Ruben Neves. We can do better than Neves, in my opinion. Onana, Zubamendi, Fresnadar, Milinkovic, Savic, Telemans I'd take before Neves. To be fair to Fresnadar, he's a right back. Thank God we didn't get Des. He's mid. How can we as a big club, how can we be a big club of this terrible ownership doesn't want to push for the best players? I'm not too sure about that. I'd love for us to get Nico Williams as a backup winger for Saka. Hear that? We all know what will happen in the summer. We'll chase Declan Rice all summer, then end up with some Chelsea or United reject and dress it up as a 10-10 window. Boy. 70 for Leao when we have Martinelli and Trossard makes no sense. Other areas need to be addressed. What if Arteta grooms Martinelli up to play as a striker? Long term, he should be able to. I think Rice will go to Chelsea and Arsenal will get Kone or someone from Spain. I mean, if Rice, I can't lie, if Rice wants to go wherever, let him, because Manu Kone, Zubamendi, they'd probably be higher on my list. That Leeds kit looks retro, somewhat ugly. I like that about it. While we'd like the club to spend big on big players, we still have to be better selling players for proper fees. Tavares, Balogun, Tierney, Sambi as potential upcoming examples. Total for them 120 million. It all depends what you can hustle. You know, Tavares, he's under contract for at least another 3-4 years. Signed him for 8 million. Can you turn that into 16 plus? Balogun, if you were to sell him this summer, you need to be ripping off clubs and trying to get 50 million for him. Tierney, you owe Celtic 15%. We spent 25 million. You hear muted fees of 30 million. Not really the biggest of profits there. Obviously, potential buyers of Tierney will point to his injury record. Obviously, you know, you're not going to make significant fees on Cedric, Pablo Marie, or Nicolas Pepe. But if you look at how much they're probably bleeding the club in terms of weekly wages, that's significant resources that could be reinvested. And is there anybody else that needs to get nipped in the bud? I'm not too sure. We haven't got that many players. We haven't got that many players that can't help us. Camavinga, Tchouameni, and Jude is illegal. Don't forget Valverde. Liverpool aren't getting Jude if they don't make the Champions League. Don't forget we need some nasty characters as well. Can't have our real men credentials keep getting checked. Bro, do you think Arsenal will spend 350 million to get all top targets? Arsenal not going to spend 350 million. If that's what you're seeing. If Kroenke can spend 1 billion on trains, then for sure we can get 4 free world-class players. It doesn't always work like that though, man. Pray Monza stay up so we get 7 million and Marie off the books. Tell him again, we're praying, we're hoping. Shout out the Twitch gang. I'm open to Neves. I don't mind that. I can't like Zubimendi is the one. I'd prefer Zubimendi over Declan Rice. Declan Rice would be a shiny new toy and all of that, and not to discredit Declan Rice, but I think Zubimendi is everything I look for in that. Neves over Onana all day. Don't forget 2 p.m. we're on Twitch, gang. So it all really depends, but all interesting talking points, man. But again, my biggest thing is just get something done. By all means, go after Declan Rice. You can't get him. Make sure you get something else in it. I'm sure there's a bag of players that we haven't been linked with that Arsenal are looking at. But I would love Zubimendi. I think Manu Kone is decent. Obviously, we've been linked with Yuri Telemans, been linked with Ruben Neves, loosely linked with Jude Bellingham. We know we're not going to get him, but loosely linked with Jude Bellingham. Moses Caicedo, we tried. Who knows? You might even spin the block again for Douglas Luiz, even though he signed a new deal and everyone else. All I care about is these things are addressed. In an ideal world for me, Arsenal sign an 8 and a 6. Well, I would like 3 midfielders, but that's not going to happen. Like either 2 8s and a 6 or 2 6s and an 8. But I'd say just 2 in it. I would say at least three sign. Oh, my sparkling water again. I should really move this from over here. I would say 3 signings off the top of my head, minimal. In an ideal world, 4 for me. I would say 2 centre midfielders, a right back, and I would like a striker, really, if I'm honest with you. With knowing we've got Eddie, we've got Jesus, Martinelli, and Trossard can play up front. Obviously, you have got Balogun there, and I'm probably missing out someone. But if there's an opportunity to get something better than what we have, like the Atalanta lad who looks 6'2", can be a physical presence and can play football. Obviously, Lautaro Martinez. I like Lautaro Martinez. I'm not really as hot on him as I was a few years ago because he seems like he needs a bit too much of a support. Obviously, he's not different essentially in terms of he's not a target man per se, but it looks like he needs too much of a support cast to really thrive, really and truly, if I'm honest. So I'm not too sure on his 20 more likes and we have 100 people. One love to everyone who's hit the like button. Appreciate that, but smash the like button if you haven't. Ward Prowse is welcome if Southampton go down. We need a Giroud. I wouldn't be against that. Unrelated, praying Leipzig get knocked out of the Champions League. Nah, I'm praying City do. How is Hojlund better than Bellingham? Nothing shows that. My eyes. I'm not trying to discredit Bellingham. My eyes, from what I've seen of him, I think you're better than Bellingham. I'm not trying to disrespect Bellingham. I think you will be better than Bellingham. I'm happy for Bellingham. I'm happy to be proven wrong, but I think you've got more gears to your game than Bellingham. I think you press a lot better than Bellingham. I think your general play is a lot better than Bellingham's. Goal scoring, fair enough, he can talk to you. That's just my opinion. Like, could only go off my opinion, bro. My eyes. We'll talk in 3-4 years. If we could bring Kareem Adeyemi to the carpet, that would be better. Or am I not allowed to say he's better than Bellingham? We'll see. As much as I like Bellingham, the same ones of you capping on this guy and doing all of this, you're going to be the first to turn on him when he doesn't quite have the season that he's having this year. Because right now, it's the wow moment. Now he's got to put down a marker. Can you get 14, 15 league goals again? Sell Eddie and keep Bellingham. It's an interesting one, and it's a good problem to have. What I would say is we need to commit Bellingham to a new deal. He's contracted until 2025, up in 2023. I guess it's down for Arteta, really. Do you sell him while his name's at his hottest? And then if he goes on and does nothing, great. If he goes on and develops to higher levels, what if? Do you keep him and then maybe think what could have happened if you sold him? Because he's not the finished article. Playing for Reims and Arsenal, and especially the Champions League and the dynamics of where he would be are two different things. So it's a decision. I'm happy I'm not Mikel Arteta. For 350 million, you could buy at FS Stadium. Football inflation is getting out of hand. Got out of hand time ago. Thoughts on Gavdal? A few years and he'll be world class. Quality centre half. Able to play left back. We just need Jude. He's 22. I hear that. Shout yourself, George. Once his girlfriend is not pregnant again, he may go to Arsenal this time. To be fair with you, as much as I don't think Douglas Luiz is a bad player, but you know, he's not good enough to be spinning the block on. You had your chance, he's gone, safe. It's a bit like Vlahovic. I mean, Vlahovic is, and I'll take him again at Arsenal, but it just seems like the way you and your agents were dealing with us, that's done, innit? Really. Really. Doesn't appear that there's anything else in the way of Arsenal. Boy, what else is going on in the world of Arsenal? I'm really trying hard, but it don't seem like there's anything. Yeah, don't look like there's anything, people. It's just us and our thoughts. Big up you lot tuned in. Did you hear about the kit leaks from next season? If that is the kit leaks, I'm going to be disappointed. I'm not going to cap to you. In my opinion, Arsenal need a target man in addition to what they already have, but midfield is a priority. How ruthless should we be this summer? Champions League coming up. Eddie Bellingham should both be sold, in my humble opinion. Unless you're bringing in someone wavy, then potentially a better striker than Jesus, then I wouldn't advocate that. But we do have to start being ruthless as a football club. You know, I'm not saying you have to be ruthless with any of these guys, but there might become a time where to get to a certain level, Gabriel, Ramsdale, Eddie Nketiah, El Nene as part of the squad, Xhaka playing as an 8. Harsh decisions might have to be made. So the better we're getting as a football club, clearly, the more ruthless we have to be. And Arteta knows that because he's made some harsh decisions or unpopular decisions at the time. Not really, but Guendouzi, Aubameyang, Mesut Ozil, he's shown that he'll make these difficult decisions. You know, Tierney and Tomiyasu, first names on the team sheet, week in, week out, you know. Now they're not. Adding Yemi, another Werner would stay clear of that one for now. No, because he can actually stay on side. Very harsh. Very harsh. Bring Yemi to the carpet. I don't really necessarily think he's ready for that move, but make it happen. Declan Rice to Arsenal, we hope. I would take Ward Prowse at Arsenal, hard-working midfielder, free kick specialist. And I mean, we were set piece at FC earlier on in the season. It would be someone for the set piece coaching staff to work with as well, really. Offered my opinions on Hojlund, think he's lit. From what I've seen. Again, still going to go through a lot of trials and tribulations, but he looks like a very good player. So, yeah, man, as I said, you know, someone asked me in an ideal world, without getting into names, I think I would like 2 midfielders, 3, but 2 midfielders, a right back and a striker, really. If that striker can play out wide, fair enough. But what hold up man, ideally, I'd like someone 6 foot plus, and what hold up man is able to really play out wide. I hope Koza, Jubi and Patino have a bigger role next season. Do you think they're good enough? I think they're good enough, but we need to take our time with them. And we're going to be in the Champions League next season. What role are they going to have really beyond being on the peripheral things? So it's probably best, while I think Patino has a future here and hope he gets a new deal, maybe going out on loan again, because realistically, we're going to be in the Champions League. Regardless of if Arsenal finish first, second, third, or fourth this season, we want to do that again. We're going to be in the Champions League. We need to evidently do better in the League Cup. You just brought in Jorginho, El Nene, probably give him a new deal. You've got Granit Xhaka, you've got Thomas Partey all ahead of you. Fabio Vieira, Odegaard, Smith Rowe can all play in midfield as well. You know, we know Jorginho, El Nene, Partey, Xhaka, they're getting on a bit, but they're all ahead of you. There's not going to be much game time. Go out there and play again. Koza Jubri, hope you get some minutes. Been on the bench a lot, but we saw that with many a Haaland player. They have, you know, they've been on the bench and not necessarily got minutes. It's been placeholder settings. If Balogun continues to pattern, do you think he'll do the England thing or US or Nigeria? Honestly, I don't know, man. It all depends how close he feels. He's spoken about it and says, you know, he goes to America every so often on holiday. Obviously, he's in England's youth ranks, and you know, I don't know if Southgate will call him up, but just in terms of English strikers, he's one of the best performing English strikers right now this season, really. So he could get a call up. Nigeria, out of all the Diaspora nations, are doing quite well in convincing the British players per se to play for them, and that's a carrot in itself as well. Honestly, I don't know, man. America have got obviously poached Yunus Musa as well. You saw how they had a very impressive good World Cup, and they're going to be at the next year's Copa America as well. So America has a great project for Balogun if he wants to do that. Nigeria, it all depends how much he feels in touch with the homeland. England, I'm sure he'd want to progress from the under-21s, but who knows? I guess there's always that fear of being a one-cap man. Good question, man. Bellingham should go USA. Where do you see Osman going? Whoever puts down the checkbook, you know, he's under contract for a decent amount of time. Whoever puts down the checkbook, Elneny should have been moved on. Bit harsh. Nah, man. You're going to need Elneny with the Champions League. He hangs around like a spare part. He's a filler. He can come in and get game time. He doesn't make up any noise. I'm for that, man. Thoughts on Lavia of Southampton? Wavy. If you win the league, would you prefer to stick to the current transfer strategy or try to compete in the big boy market of 100 million? Both. You want to have your transfer plan, but you have to have flexibility, really, you know. You have to be open to bringing in super players if it makes sense. I don't want us to try and find smart signings for the sake of smart signings if there's not a means to an end. And I don't want us to spend bare money if we can't. Sometimes we've bought expensive flops. If there's a player that evidently improves our team and it's an opportunity you can't say no to. You know, at the time of bringing in Mesut Ozil, not quite the same, but Santi Cazorla and Alexis Sanchez, I know the dynamics have shifted. You're not getting guys for 30 to 45 million quid anymore like this. But if you can do it, why not? I don't want to just go out there and show our hand and spend 100 million for no reason. But to a degree, that's probably where the market's going. You know, 70 odd million plus for Mudryk without seeing him play for 5 minutes, really. Couple guys have been on the scene for 5 minutes. It's all about it's all for these players and to a degree managers now. It's always about potentially what you could do in the future. It's never about what you've done, really. If that makes sense, you know, Ronson, and I know it's with inflation. Ronaldo went to Real Madrid for 80 million because of what he gave to the game at that moment in time. We're getting into a scenario. If you're a wonder kid or you've been on the scene for 2 minutes, that's what you're going with. So to a degree, everyone has to adapt to that or try and outsmart the market and find these guys before they break out or sit there and complain, man. I understand your transfer policy of not signing over 25-year-old players. What? I didn't say that. That's not mine, and I wouldn't say Arteta or them not have it because, you know, we wouldn't have brought in Jorginho or Trossard. Is then exceptions to the rules. He wouldn't be starting, though. Bench option that doesn't complain is almost a luxury to have. Even when Kane retires, Southgate will still be trying to call him up for the first team. I feel like Arsenal fans over the years have been conditioned to accept below par / borderline mediocre signings because apart from a free kick, everything I've seen from Ward-Prowse isn't at the level needed. Bit harsh. He could be part of the squad. I don't think you should move heaven and earth. Osimhen is a beast now in Napoli. Napoli will certainly win the Serie A. They're also very competitive in the Champions League. Ed Osimhen thus will be very expensive. And that's a great point. And when you add on their president, look how long he kept Koulibaly. Or to be fair, in hindsight, there's a reason Koulibaly must have not got that move. You got to put down the piece. And I do think there is a Italian league tax, if I'm honest with you, as well. Even a lot of players, you know, KK, who I'm a massive fan of. I'm not saying it means that they're overrated, but I think there's a degree of a tax, a little 5% tax you've got to put on anything they've done there if they're going to join a Premier League team. So, yeah. Is what it is. Good luck to Arsenal's under 18s today, people, against Cambridge in the FA Youth Cup. Hopefully we bring that home, man. I want that. So, yeah, keep your thoughts and etc. coming. People, don't forget 2 p.m. I'm here with Parisian Londoner. We'll be speaking Champions League, Paris Saint-Germain, etc. 7:50 better yet today. We're watching Man United against Barcelona, people. Someone's got to win it. It was quite the game at the Camp Nou. Pardon me. I swear international break is next month. I bet Fraudgate would still be starting Sterling ahead of Rashford. I mean, I don't think you can't not start Rashford. And to be fair, even Southgate has always stood behind Rashford, really. Shout yourself, show Wizzy. Hey, what are they? DG, what country would you represent if you got called up for one international game? Well, Jamaica or Barbados, man. You know, I'd entertain England's conversation, but do the heritage thing. I mean, Rashford, you know, how many players are performing? Rashford's probably, well, he is the best performing British player at the moment. It's him. Saka probably second. Grealish is there as well. Bellingham by default of what he's doing in France. Trying to think of who else, really. It's them lot. That president is ruthless. He sold Georgie to Chelsea over Pep, talking smug. Napoli don't like any messing about. Pay what they value or no deal, as it should, man. Shout out you, King. Why Kane will be England starting forward, no change. Yeah, but Rashford's likely to play off the left. He's playing off the left for United. Why would England go play him up front? And I know he's obviously played up front against Leicester, but yeah, historically he's playing off that left for Man United and performing quite well this season. Can transition to be a striker, especially with the way he's scoring. Because Rashford has had strong goal scoring campaigns, but it's always been bugged goals. Now it looks like he means this. Crazy what confidence and improvement can do, man. And he's hitting the ground at the right time. If you're a Liverpool fan, apparently Lovren has retired from international football and won't play for Croatia again. So yeah, man. There you have it. Doesn't appear that there's anything else in the world of football apart from football governance to come out with regulators and that, people. Crazy stuff coming up. England is not a counter-attacking team, and thus Rashford is not the best choice. Kane is still better. Once again, Kane's going to play through the middle. Rashford would play off the left. If we are getting 4 players that are top targets, we would need to spend 290 million. Can we spend that? I don't know. I hope the accountants, Josh and Stan and Arteta and Edu, they're all in a room and, they've signed off on that. I don't have a clue. Don't have a clue. Rashford left wing, Kane up front, Saka right wing is probably what we'll see against Italy and Co. You streaming the Europa League draw? Yeah, tomorrow. I think I will stream that on Twitch, though, just because we can actually watch it together via Twitch, if I can remember correctly. YouTube's obviously copyright. I think it's at 11, so I'll be live at 11. Yeah. Because I'm happy at Chelsea already, but I still don't get why fans back the ownership. They clearly don't want to lay down the money for the best players. Don't know what, man. Kane would work alongside Rashford would work alongside Kane because Kane could use him as an informed version of Son. To be fair, in Saka's going to come narrow. Kane is just going to be a 10. Kane drops deep. And then it's just going to be Rashford and Saka inverted and Kane deserting them, really. Can you guys get Barcelona or Man United? I'm pretty in theory, I'm pretty sure we can't play Man United if they go through. Based off the report, if I remember correctly, read it yesterday. So yeah, man. But who knows? Probably now that I said that, probably can. So it all depends, really. Raji. What else is going on? No, there's nothing else going on in the world of football. Obviously, RIP John Motson, unfortunately, legendary football commentator, lost his life. Thoughts with him and his family. It's an interesting one. Who are you picking? Osimhen plus Rice or Bellingham plus Tony? I see Jude Bellingham. Jude Bellingham plus Tony then. I see Jude Bellingham. So I'm going with that just because I see Jude Bellingham, really. There's not much more I could do. Would I rather Jude Bellingham over Declan Rice? Of course, but we don't have a snowball's chance of Jude Bellingham. So there's Rice at home. Some expensive Rice. Let's hope it's actually good. But yeah, I'm having Declan Rice, man. I think it'd be a very good signing for us. But I always look at these kind of signings with a degree of pessimism because everybody's in for it. Until I see Dons holding shirts saying they've always watched Arsenal since they was a little kid, it's crazy. To be fair, Arsenal are not in for us, man. Apart from when he was 17. I don't think he's going to go Real Madrid. But who knows, man? Real Madrid are going to need to start planning for a future post-Benzema. Easier said than done. Only 77, thought he was way older. It's crazy, isn't it? Lived a long life, lived it. What can you say? Lived his dreams, innit? It's crazy, man. We need to win the Europa League this season and get top 4 also for a successful season. Then we have the money to get players. We need to compete for the league next season. We probably need to get qualify via the domestic campaign, and I don't think the Europa League brings much money. But every little counts. It's fully Rice at home. There's Rice at home, bro. Afternoon, Danny. Hope you're doing well and safe. But you are right. It'd be lovely to win the Europa League. We don't have the best of histories with the with European football. Definitely in my lifetime. Deluded, what is your prediction for the United versus Barca game? Minus 3-1 United. I think 2-1 United. I think United do them at Old Trafford, to be fair. Rashford anytime. Why don't you think Arsenal can get Jude Bellingham? Because we're not going to front up the cash for Jude Bellingham. 100 bringing in the next 6, bringing in a right back, maybe addressing other areas. Like, when you look at it, fair enough, you know, it could go up to 100 million for Declan Rice, but you're hearing 70, 80. We're just not going to put the bread down. Like, it's that reality. It's that reality. I'd love I'd love a Gucci jacket. That's not for me right now, is it? Like, it's just, we're going to have to go H&M. Like, we're not involved, man. We're just not involved. Big up, DG. Have you touched on being one-sided with the inverted left back? Zinni for Xhaka and Tini flying down the wing is needed. I hear that, but we're fairly all right down the right. I think we're less lopsided, if anything. I want Rice and Ramos Hojlund. I feel like Barca died when Pedri went off. We should slap him today. They'll get slapped, man. They're going to need their midfield. Busquets going to need to rewind the ages. De Jong's going to have a good game. What? There's no Gavi, no Pedri. Sure, someone else is missing. I don't know, man. I think they'll get done at Old Trafford still. It'll be a game, but I just think they'll get done at Old Trafford. I don't want it to be the case because any team that isn't Arsenal, I don't want them to have any success, much less, do anything in Europe. So I hope that Leipzig beat Man City. I hope Barcelona turn it around against Man United. Obviously, I don't need to hope anything about Real Madrid because they've done what they've done against Liverpool, etc., man. Their only threat is Lewandowski, no Osimhen, allegedly. I mean, but I can't. I don't want to disrespect Barca and look beyond that. I've just said. I said from the first tie. I just think United do them. Barca's not what they once were, really. Neither teams are really, but I just don't think they are what they once were. Dembele injured for Barca as well. If Xavi sits deep and plays like Newcastle, no win for United. At least there'll be a penalty shooter. I don't think he's going to sit back. Arsenal is acting like a small club compared to our history. How? Swear Dembele is back. I don't have a clue. Rashford goal is guaranteed at this rate. Trust the bookies probably stopped taking odds on Rashford. He's probably, he's just doing what he needs to do. Fuck that sparkling water, man. Kicked it all over again. It's quite a big bottle. So who knows, really? What else is going on in the world of football? Completely different people, but apparently football's governance white paper set to be published on Thursday, which is today. There's a whole host of thingy people being allegedly proposed. Fan-led review, key recommendations. The government should create a new independent regulator. Yeah, that's a great suggestion. The independent regulator should oversee financial regulation in football. The government, really, with what the MPs are doing. The independent regulator should establish a new fit and proper persons test to replace the existing system, which also includes an integrity test on potential owners and real-time financial checks. Fans should be consulted on all key off-field decisions through a shadow board. Equality, diversity, and inclusion plans should be mandatory for all clubs. Yeah, in reality, they become tick box exercises. Key items of club heritage should be protected by a golden share for fans. A new corporate governance code should be set up. Women's football should be treated equally and given its own review. I agree with that. Stakeholders should work to increase protection of welfare of players leaving the game. Fair enough. There should be more support from the Premier League pyramid through solidarity transfer levy. Seems all good in principle. The man said Ten Hag is ready to see him at the Barbers to buy top targets we actually need from the board to Edu. Man of the match, sparkling water. When does Jesus return? That's the $1 million question, man. Hopefully sooner rather than later. Sounds all good and all, but we all know this ain't gonna work. I hear that. Boy. It sounds all good. Like you said, it sounds all good. It's not gonna bang. There will be new tests for potential club owners and directors. Power to stop clubs joining breakaway competitions such as the European Super League. I don't think that should be a thing. Not that I'm for the Super League. Supporters given a greater say in protecting club identity from changes. For example, names, badges, and home shirts. Fair enough. Government also launching review of visa system for players coming to England. This don't sound. Some of it sounds great in principle. Some of it just sounds beaky. Yeah. Hey, Izzy, why not, man? Don't think Arteta's got any use for the guy, though, man. Why not? Never forget we are ahead of. I don't know what that means, my guy. If Barca contains Rashford, you could easily mark him out of the game as he has to leave the ball, as he has to have the ball passed to him. He can't tackle. I mean, while your attention's on Rashford, there's 10 other players there, in it. I hear you, though. Some pretty harsh, pessimistic views on how the club operates seems to not take into account all that goes into completely changing the club's culture of previous years and awful stewardship. See, you said it there, innit? You know, I understand the frustration for players. I'm not saying Arsenal couldn't. You can never have too much ambition in this life, but yeah, like you said, harsh, harsh. I think some of it is harsh, but not necessarily wrong. Some of it is a bit emotional in reply, really. But you are right. That work is underway, and hopefully it continues. If it doesn't, well, then we're gonna have to ask ourselves questions. But what I would say in the last 12, 18 months, 2 years. This is the best Arsenal have been in a long time. Off the field, actually believe this season, more particularly in terms of believing in something. Really, do you know how many times, bro? Everton away, as good as we've been this season. In previous years, the fans are getting booed. Arteta's getting corn. It is what it is now. Because fans, the main thing is that there's something to believe in. Can we go up the levels? Do I think it's all being done in the right way? Do we shoot ourselves in the foot 100%? But yeah, man. Yes, but the two players Rashford relies on is Bruno and Casemiro. I hear you. You're not wrong, but they're gonna have to find a way to get with it, innit? It's a team sport. They're gonna have to find a way to get on with it. If Rashford's having a quiet day, the other United players are gonna have to get with it. You don't get with it, you lose a chance of winning a trophy at the end of the season. And Ten Hag's obviously in one final. When you're trying to start a new thing, at a club, it's always nice to get your hand on a couple of trophies and create that winning mentality. So yeah, man, Rashford can't, as good as he is, he can't carry them alone. DG seen the leaks of the Arsenal kit next season? We have, but yeah, man, I don't know, because obviously it needs to be confirmed that these are not just the concepts; these are the real things. But if these are, I'm not impressed. I've been here before. These kits, I'm gonna buy them regardless. They're gonna grow on me, but nah, man, I don't really. I feel this year's kits, they're all wavy. The black one, the pink one, the home kit, they're all great kits. Others in previous years have grown on me. I think from what I've seen of them leaked images, they'd have to grow on me. I'd have to see them in person. But from what I can see with my eyes, the away kit looks dead. It looks like a United kit with an Arsenal badge. The home kit looks dead. Yeah. Arteta brought back your identity. You got to respect it. There you have it. Give the fans something to believe in, bro. When was the last time people struggled to get Arsenal tickets? And it's a bit annoying because, for those that can't watch games on streams and can't get to the games, the games are and you're from the United Kingdom, because the next couple of games for Arsenal, they're not on TV, are they, really? You know what? Leicester isn't. There's rumours Everton isn't. I'd be really upset if Everton isn't, because that's what else is happening next Wednesday. That has to be on TV, in fact, man. The elite kit looks dead, I can't lie. If the concept kits are true, they are the worst since Adidas took over. Big up DG. What do you think of Declan Rice as a midfield option? Do you think he's a player to take Arsenal to the glory days? One player alone can't take us to the glory days, but he'd be welcome at the carpet. Without a doubt, he's welcome. Next 3 games ain't on UK TV. Cabby, they're violating, man. Nah, come on. They're violating. I need to see what other fixtures are on next Wednesday. And this is what annoys me, because, you can buy as many sports packages as you want and all of these other things, and you're still not guaranteed, regardless of what team you support in this country, to be able to watch every game. Okay, Liverpool Wolves is on TV. I mean, is on the day. So I assume the Wolves game's on TV. How many times are Liverpool going to play Wolves this season? I feel like you lot been playing each other bare times. You've definitely played each other twice in the cup. Feels like Liverpool playing Wolves bare times this season. Arsenal, Everton not on TV. You'd imagine with, Arsenal, Man United, Man City, with where they are in the league table, shouldn't it make sense to, even if the TV just wanted TV rights money, to be watching these? Sean Dice against Arsenal as well. Sean Dice an enemy. Exactly. Imagine buying Sky and BT, still getting shagged. And then they wonder why privacy is at an all-time high. Exactly. Exactly. So yeah, the next three. So we were right. The next three games are that. Might have to invest in one of those, man. Do you think it's unfair when Man City and Liverpool were chasing the title, all their games were on TV? It probably wasn't, but if I go back, I don't know. I can't confirm if all games were on TV, but it's ridiculous. It's absolutely ridiculous. All games live on TV in the US, and it's not our national sport, so it is for the as it is for the UK. It's I don't know what they're doing. TV rights. Obviously, we all know every football fan in the United Kingdom, regardless what team you support in the Premier League, 3 o'clock blackout period in it. You're not going to watch that. That is something that should be readdressed. I'm sorry, but it's 2023 now. Everton revenge is a good game versus Wolves bottom of the table thing. I mean, to be fair, Wolves slapped Liverpool last time they bucked their minutes, so maybe that's why. But it's absolutely ridiculous, man. It's absolutely ridiculous. We're just gonna have to get on with it. I guess the next couple of games we'll be all watching it on the stream together, people. It is what it is. If you're on Twitch, don't forget to subscribe with Amazon Prime for free to support the channel. Don't forget, people, on Saturday we're watching Leicester versus Arsenal, which again will be on the stream. I'm live from 2 p.m. on Saturday because that is obviously a 3 p.m. kickoff. Today is obviously Man United versus Barcelona. And don't forget at 2 p.m., folks, I'm here with Parisian Londoner where we're speaking Paris Saint-Germain. So I hope to see you all there for that one. Plenty Bandulu streams for the man them to eat. There you have it. Where there's a will, there's a way, man. DG, would you consider doing a review of that video you did during COVID for your birthday? I'd love to see your reflections and thoughts on life and how you developed your wisdom in life. Shout out yourself, Danny. DG thoughts, deluded thoughts. They're off the cuff, man. Soon land, man, but I gotta be in a what's the word, man? Reflective mood. UK wants fans to attend the game and thus does not cover every game in TV, but not everyone can get to the games. Like you're seeing how mad it is financially for people. If you got a season ticket, regular match goer, that's costing peas. You got to get to the game. Some people are taking their kids or their wives or whatever, so you got to times the ticket prices. You got to get before and after the game. You got to put petrol in your car. You got to put money on a train ticket. You got to do all of these things. You still got to pay your bills. You still got to pay the monthly subscription fees for Sky, BT. If you want to watch La Liga, I don't know what you do for La Liga, but La Liga as well, and your TV license and the rest of it. Appreciate that, Danny, man. I said the other day there should be a 3 p.m. viewing season ticket. I'm not sure of the knock-on effects, but it's something to look at. Show with Rants. Not today. There's no time, man. I'm here now. And then obviously I'm live at 2 p.m. So there's just no gap in the window to do that, man. Shout out to Rants and Matisse, though. I think they're doing it. Having the games on TV won't stop regular match goers and season ticket holders. Silly rule. Exactly. Not everyone can go all the time. Sometimes, if you got a season ticket, but, your kid has to go, I don't know, football training, you might not be able to make it to the Emirates. So that's one ticket that's going to be sold. You might only have time to watch it on TV. The 3 p.m. blackout was put in place to encourage people to support local lower teams. And even with that, like, bro, everybody needs money, but have you tried to watch even these Sunday league teams and some of these lower teams? It's getting expensive. It's getting expensive. They're trying to charge 15, 20 pounds to go watch them, and that it's getting mad. It's all mad now. Even if you support a championship team, a lot of them championship clubs are starting to run that £5 match pass. So now, and you got to remember, there's more games in the championship. I actually don't know how much there is. Ain't there like 40 games in the championship? And they're running £5 a game. What's the true reflection of that? Not only, I shout Telwood, not only shout my YouTube members as well. Danny, Telwood, Clement, I see you lot. Not playing 3 p.m. kickoffs is only detrimental to these TV channel companies. Most, man, just cop a box and stream all the games and get rid of their TV subscriptions. There you have it. And them teams are still broke. Like 46. So imagine that, 46 games, you're paying a £5 a game. I don't know the maths, but that's a madness. Yeah, you might look it's only a £5, but it adds up. And people got bills to pay. People got all these things to pay. People got trying to save and do what they're doing, innit? This is why, football is the best business to be in, because we will moan, we will complain, but we will still watch it, Carl. We have an undivided love for our football team, whether we're going to games or not. Certain men are buying merchandise, you know, or buying the whole shebang. Certain people got families. Let's just say you got 2 kids, so you're buying 2 kids the kit with the names on the back and the extra fees with that, and you're buying it for yourself, and you're obviously buying a match day program, and you're buying some food in the stadium, and you've bought a ticket, and you've got TV subscription where indirectly all these Premier League teams are eating. Football is one of the best businesses from a psychological point of view. When a team's in poor form, some people stop going, but sometimes we can be so disillusioned with our clubs week in, week out, but man are still going and sitting there and volunteering, women as well, but we're still going there and volunteering for this headache. The fat cats in the game get at us, and this is why, and they're smart. That's why people, when they look at money in the game, they attack the players, because the players are the ones seen. You think players are getting paid 300 bags, as crazy as it is, 300 bags a week, if those above them aren't making pounds on them pennies? Think about it logically, people. Come on, you lot are smart, man. Think Americans pay $25 for peacocks, and that has most games, plus early kickoffs were getting robbed in the UK. I remember my old job before we started doing content full time. It's going to sound bad, man, but I was doing some admin work, and I went on the server, and I was just going in the files for like the server files for something, and I saw something. It said important documents. I was like, what does this mean? So it was password protected. Don't ask me how, but I finessed the password. I see NBC plus pass or something like that, wherever it is in America. I was like, what is this? I've gone online. It said you need a VPN, so I've got a VPN, and then I've signed in. And then I've seen that it's showing all the Premier League games. So until my old job changed that password, I can't lie. That's how I was watching all them Premier League games. While we're streaming as well. Crazy, man. Absolutely crazy. My local season ticket is £250, and they're a championship club, and I still have to pay for BT, Sky Sports, Amazon Prime. It's filthy. Out of all of them, exactly. Out of all of them, for me, but £200, you know, isn't that much for a season ticket compared to what the Prem is. But with all of that, it's a madness. Absolute madness. But compared to all them things, I think Amazon Prime is one of the better things I pay for, if I'm honest with you. They should charge a lot more. I got no beef with Amazon Prime. Jeff Bezos, your money's long enough. You might as well buy all these TV rights and just run all the games on that, man. My local team is also championship, and their half-season tickets are £200. See the bread. See the bread. And it's all a race to the bottom, man. It's all the bread. It's absolutely crazy. Look at what they do to us, people. They don't care about us. None of these football clubs, none of these, you know, leagues, football clubs, fat cats. The industry don't care about us, people. It does not care. Don't ever make that mistake of thinking they do. Hey, DG, I used to pay for Canal Plus here in Polish, out the Polish ones, just for the Premier League games, but they only had few games and never sure if Arsenal ones this season. VIA play streams every game, so I switched straight away. It makes sense. You got to do what you got to do. Protect your pockets. Amazon Prime is elite value for money still, though. Don't use Amazon Music card. Amazon Music? What's that? Does that come with it? Nah, I ain't using no Amazon Music. Spotify things. I've got a couple subscriptions that, you know, you've got younger cousins and stuff that are at uni, and let me get that uni passcode so I can sign in through that. You got to do these bandoolies, man. I'd love to see a Netflix-style Premier League app for TV, which all games are exclusively shown, which extra content like behind the scenes. I would love to be able today, if they said, you know what, 38 Arsenal games in the Premier League, how far you go in the Europa/Champs, you know, and the other cups, if you could pay a fee and I'm assured to watch all of that, then I would pay for that. And then if there's a thing where you can combine it, if you want to watch other teams or other games or whatnot, do something, but I'd be more than happy with that, man. Prime comes with Prime Music, DG, basically Spotify, but a bit more ropey. I think they kept that quiet. Thoughts on the Rafinha bid? Well, we tried, but it didn't bang in it. And, you know, Rafinha's form's been woeful, so we would have been zanging ourselves 70-odd million, which equates to about 60, which Barca would have made a profit. But, yeah, man. You'd have to see. The Netflix thing would be sick. Deluded. Where do you see Arsenal finishing in the Champions League next year? I don't know, and I don't know because Champions League football isn't mathematically confirmed yet where Arsenal's concerned. I think you need about 70 points before it's mathematically concerned. It's something I haven't thought about. I haven't checked the league table, so in relation to where Arsenal could finish in the Champions League next year, in relation to Arsenal fighting for Premier League titles, I'm not the guy to ask for any of that. Let's just work really hard, run as fast as we can, outwork the opposition, try and be the best we can be, and then see where we're at there, man. Premier League pass needs to happen. They're sitting on hella bread. But being devil's advocate, probably making more bread fleecing us like this. Talking about Spotify, remember the Daniel Ek takeover? What a smokescreen that was. Yeah, man, he got his stock prices up and cut out. The crook. Henri, I'm onto you for that one as well. Slightly onto you for that. But with it being just shy of 90 minutes, people, obviously in an hour and 5 minutes, Twitch gang, I'm going to be live with Parisian Londoner. He's a Paris Saint-Germain fan. We're going to be talking football. So I'll see you lot there. My watch-along crew, again, 7:50 today. We're watching Man United against Barcelona. So yeah, man, it's been a fantastic live stream with you lot. Appreciative to you lot giving up your time, your talking points, your questions, your banter, your engagements. If you haven't smashed the like button, subscribed, turn on your notification bell, checked out the YouTube playlist, and I don't know what you lot are doing. Most importantly, you lot stay blessed, stay safe, and I'll see you lot again soon, man.
There's always just that active red flag defending. I think it's like. There's always just that active red flag defending. I think it's like.